You are listening to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Radio Rossonera and Milan fans all over the world.
Sensational from him. Rafael Leao produces a moment of utter magic.
Teo Hernandez al volo! Teo Hernandez! Ancora lui! Una meraviglia! Ibrahimovic! Zlatan Ibrahimovic! Fuori classe assoluto!
Buonasera, Stevie P. Buonasera. How are you this fine Monday evening?
Fantastic, guys. I'm so...
Hey, you're supposed to be negative. You're not
fantastic. Illuminated.
You're illuminated. It's, we're here. We're live, Steve. We got a couple of guys in the green room, and we're going to get this thing going. Good evening to everybody on there. I know I went on like 20 minutes early, see if we could test out with the guys. Already guys waiting, and Gigi Patat says he feels like he's waiting for Rihanna to come on. Well, thank you for, I think he was referring to her beauty, like our beauty, Steve. I don't think what else would it be talking
Guaranteed
about.
He's talking about me.
Yeah, definitely from over there. But Steve, whenever you're ready, Gio's giving you.
Let's go,
guys. No music because we're gonna get cut off from over there. So let's get this started. Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here where we talk everything Milan from a it's -5 for everybody else in Serie A, Milan. And where I got 99 problems and Inter and Juve aren't one, right? And well, we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Good evening to everybody. Gio saying, smiling Stevie P. Nice sweater. Knew he was the model for Puma Milan gear. You are a model. Look at that beautiful sweater.
The gear that fits.
The gear that fits. And guys, we have lots to talk about. We have our guests waiting in the background, but you guys know it's been a couple of weeks. We like this little thing. Let's start it off with our housekeeping stuff. Steve, before we begin, I need to do a, what do you call it here? To share the screen, and I have a couple of questions. For you. Steve, yesterday in NXT was War Games, or as William Regal would like to say, War Games. And this is what you would see there in the War Games. Steve, let me ask you something. Because War Games is 4 against 4. One guy comes out after the other one, 5 minutes intervals. If Milan would have to participate in a War Games, past and present, who are those 4 Milan players taking part in this NXT War Games?
What do you want over here in this segment, though? I don't get it. This is wrestling. I'm at Milan +5, and I have to give you War Game people.
Give me four lumberjacks. You like lumberjack?
Yapstan. We're gonna put Van Bommel in there too. I'm gonna give you Gennaro Gattuso as well. And just for someone, there has to be like a weak link in the whole thing. Kevin Constant, because he's a bit agile, and he's gonna be the one who's gonna like get knocked out first to create the drama.
I like it. From what I like to throw you these curveballs there, Steve. But on to serious housekeeping, guys. We're 6 days away. Toy and food drive. You guys know that Steve and I have been getting the Milan Weekly Podcast, Milan Club Montreal involved. The last this is our 3rd year. Yes, Steve. And I just wanted to take the time to say, the amount of love and contributions that we've gotten for a little, maybe 10 days, Steve. Wow. Thank you so very much. As you guys see there, $1,065. Even today, David Amoyal reaching out, did a little segment with him. It's coming up tomorrow. I wanted to make sure that we mentioned it. Very nice of him as well. But I just wanted to take the time, guys, to say thanks to everybody Vito Clemente, Andrew Mato, my cousin Grace, Nicholas Scalia, Kumpara Chichi from New York, my sister, Tommy Time. Anonymous has got a couple of donations there, Steve. Christian Bellini, Dominic DeFazio, Paulie H, fellow patron as well. Melanie, who works with me, Joey Giannini, that snake Francis, Mamma Tavernes, my mom, Diego Greco, Sabrina, Benny Lombardi, Giuseppe Alfonsi, Scott Benessi, Mario Magri, Simon Coletti, and my cousin Johnny, the first one, to a total of $1,065. Wow, I can't wait until we get there Saturday, Steve, and we fill up those cards. Thank you. Shout out to my sister for getting us into a Walmart after closing time. So, we're not bothering anybody because we're going to be there for at least, 18, 20 carts of food and non-perishables. And unfortunately, guys, Patreon, I know we've been doing an hour before game time, but this Sunday will not be possible. I'm going to have to watch the game on replay, not look at my 275 Milan Club Montreal chat on WhatsApp. So this Sunday we'll be in the cold. We'll be helping out with these restrictions. But hey, we're not talking about restrictions. We're here to talk about this great cause, Steve. But
continue to donate. You still have time, ladies and gentlemen. We want to beat our record from last year.
We still have definitely time, guys. So thank you so very much for that.
And it's important to mention, guys, any amount counts, right? We're not looking at specific amounts here, anything. And if financially, if money is not something that you want to donate, pass by the toy and food drive, donate the non-perishable goods, donate the toys for the kids. That's just as good as a donation as just giving to myself and Vinny.
That's it. So, guys, thank you very much once again. And by the way, you see the comments, Steve. Everybody knows about war games. They're saying De Jong would have been a good pick for
Milan. Top of the table, +5. What war games?
So, other than that, in the housekeeping, Steve, I think we've covered most of it. And saying thank you to obviously all the Patreon members. Thank you for all the platforms that are distributing our podcast. Thank you to IFTV, to Marco for having that special that we did last week. Anything comes to mind for you, Steve?
Housekeeping's done. Top of the table, Milan.
Top of the table, Milan. And we're going to get straight into it. The controversy, the haters, but God damn it, does it feel good? Does it not, Steve? It's about time, right? But I think it's about that time that before we take it into the Milan game, let's bring in our guests from the Calcio Podcast. We have Sam and Nick live here from. Let me get rid of this Patreon thing over here. Live from Montreal, Steve. Fellow boys from Le 514. Gentlemen, youngsters, how are you this fine evening?
I'm a little confused, boys. Thank you for having us, by the way. Genzo, Stefano, welcome. Jesus Christ, I'm so used to welcoming people to the show.
Our podcast,
guys. I'm gonna say thank you now before Sam goes on a 10-minute tangent. I'm gonna say thank you, Vinny and Steve, for having me on right now. Sam, continue.
I feel like I'm in the Matrix right now. I'm not hosting a podcast. I'm welcoming people to a show that I don't even host. But no, I'm weirded out. I don't know what's going on. It feels like we're in the Matrix, man. You guys are. I mean, as Steve keeps alluding to, we're in a position right now where Milan are 5 points up on everyone else on the table, and what can I say? 2020's been a weird year. I'm a Juventino, obviously.
We're gonna get into that.
Matter of fact, why don't we first things first?
He's already taking.
Oh no!
He's surrounded by Milanistas. He's already putting the. So, you know what, guys, before we get into the game, why don't you put yourselves over, talk about what you guys do, where we can find your podcasts, and what is Calcio Podcast?
Nick, take it away.
Yeah, so Sam and I have been podcasting together, I want to say, Sam, since March 2018. We decided halfway through a season, it was something we've spoken about for a long time, being longtime friends, watching Calcio, shitting on each other, talking about Juventus, talking about Milan, this and that. So we said, why not? Let's start a podcast. And honestly, ever since then, been learning since then, been bantering since then. We've been having a lot of fun together. So we're happy to be here. So thanks for having us on.
We'd like to.
Tommy already throwing the daggers. I love it. Tommy's right over there, and he's got the scarf. I don't think that icon hat has anything to do with Juventus, but we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it.
It's black and white. It's black and white.
Okay, let's get straight into it. Before we get into the Serie A, let's talk about the game against Sampdoria. Steve, I'm gonna start with you. Not the prettiest of wins, right? Maybe not the best of performances, but I kind of felt. Not weird, but 4 minutes in with a little brain fart of a yellow card from Kessie. I loved it how he fell over, but he was pretending that he fouled him by falling over, and the referee said he saw that straight through. But in the end, Steve, we did what we had to do, did we not?
We did what we had to do, and those are the 3 points, the ugly 3 points. We've been on this for 9 years, guys. 9 years we've been watching a Juve that has not been stellar all the time, but has won ugly games like this. The thing that's frustrating me, guys, and then I'll be straightforward with everybody and everybody listening, is this is something that has to happen if you want to win Scudetto. You're not going to win every game pretty, 3-0, comfortable. Nothing bad is going to happen. You're not going to have any hiccups or brain farts. That's what's going to happen. The difference is, again, this is another example of a game where last year Milan would have lost this game.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna leave the game and I'm gonna make the guests talk about the game. For me, what first of all, I'm enjoying it. Second of all, it perplexes me is everybody's trying to find a reason why Milan is at 5 points ahead. And it's a penalty shot, and it's everybody's overachieving, and there's luck. But in the end, that's what it is, guys. That's the game. There is a factor of luck. There is a factor of great timing. If I would have told you at the beginning of the year, we would have lost Zlatan 2 times in this calendar year, once with COVID and once with an injury, and still be top of the table, not a lot of people would have been, hey, I would take that. But the timing's been right. So Zlatan goes out with COVID, we scrounge up a couple of wins. Zlatan goes out with an injury, we come up with some ugly wins. But that's exactly what you need. The people are getting hurt. I'm not saying at the right time, but it's happening at a good point where Milan could support that pressure and could. And in the end, I have people telling me, this is the most average Milan that's been at the top of the table. Okay. But they're also a very young Milan. And if we go through the table now, and I always remember, and it's funny, you went on David's podcast, he would always said, you judge the player by would he be able to start in someone else's starting 11. If I look at Juve today, I'm pretty sure Juve can take on at least 4 to 5 of these Milan players that are starting for Milan today. And I'm not, I'll make Sam answer that. But if you just take a minute and take out your Juve blinders and look at the game and how the players play, you would take on 5 of the starters guaranteed.
I think you're making a good point. And Sam, we're gonna let you answer this. And I think the difference between, and let's not kid ourselves. Juventus has gone through this where everybody's pissed off and how are they doing this game in and game out that they play like shit and they still win? Those Scudetto years, we would see this all along. But why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to accept that Milan might have everything going their way? And again, I think you would take 4 or 5 of our players to be in your starting lineup because it's been a struggle for Juventus.
Vinny, this is the same guy that was convincing himself 2 years ago that De Sciglio was a very good fullback. So just let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what's going to leave. Let's wait and see what's going to leave this guy's mouth.
I've been misquoted on that so many times. I never said he was a very good anything. He's not very good for anything in footballing terms for a top Serie A side. Let's be clear about that. Okay. You could roll back the tape. I'm gonna have to fucking pull this up at one point. I could swear on this podcast, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Okay, fuck, shit, cunt. Okay, good. I'm gonna have to pull up those tapes, man, because Nick has been banging that drum for a long time. But no, look, to be fair, I don't think it's hard to accept that Milan are in the position they're in right now. I don't. I think you guys deserve it. I think you're very well coached right now. And I agree with you, Steve. I was thinking the wheels were turning a little bit, and I was thinking, who would we take in our starting 11? Well, I could probably agree with you that there are maybe a good 5 guys that I take right off the bat. I don't know that Donnarumma is necessarily better than Szczesny, but he could definitively start for us.
Excuse me.
I'd rather have him.
Did you say that Donnarumma is not as good as Szczesny? Did I hear that correctly?
He said he's not better than Szczesny.
I don't know that he's that much better that we need him in the team, but he'd probably be able to start at Juve for sure over Szczesny. It'd be very close. He'd be able to start.
That's a fact, Sam. Donnarumma would start over Szczesny. No offense.
I'd rather have him in the team for sure because of what he offers long term. Theo Hernandez definitely starts. Frank Kessie probably starts. Fuck me, Zlatan probably even starts. I don't know that we need a 39-year-old Zlatan. Morata's actually been playing quite well, but I don't disagree with you. Maybe even Rebic. Rebic could probably get in the way that he's been playing so far this season. I really do think
you forgot the Prince where you need him the most. You forgot the Prince. Benacer eats everybody at Juve for dinner.
I'll take any of your midfielders right now. I'll take any of your midfielders.
No problem.
Your young midfielders right now are actually very enviable, and I think
I don't want to cut you off. I'm really
okay. I'm an expert in the art. I'm an expert in the art of cutting people off. So don't worry about it.
I'm proud of you for doing that. And you know what? And I want to do the same exercise with Inter, and I want to do the same exercise with Roma, and I want to do the same exercise with Lazio, and then tutti se ne vanno a fanculo. That this Milan is top of the team.
You do.
Plus 5, and they can have players that start on another team. This weekend, we had Juve's dominant performance against Torino. Domination.
Sure.
Yet the newspapers failed to see the first 80 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
And that's Torino. That's a Gianpaolo's Torino.
I knew we would get to that.
Simone Zaza plays on that team. I'm 39 years old, Sam and Nick. I'm 300 pounds, and I'm telling you, I'm better than Simone Zaza.
Mutual enemy. Not because he's a bad guy. I know we both love him, but Nima Tavalli of Sempre Inter. So mutual enemy because of who he supports. He's a recurring guest on our pod, but he had a great tweet the other day. He goes, "I'm 39, fat, have 2 flat feet, and seeing Simone Zaza continue to start in Serie A gives me hope." So I get it. Presidente Marcello texted me the other day and said, "Man, you're lucky that you won because Steve would have ripped you a new one if you had lost to or failed to beat a Gianpaolo-led Torino side." But to be fair, you know what I will say about Torino? We can get to the Milan game in a second. I know Nick's going to have a lot to say, but they're not a bad team. There's something weird going on, and you know what? Get
out of here.
No. Hang on. They actually have a decent core. I think that there's some weird psychological thing going on there. I don't know. Like if you look at who they have, okay, on paper, there's no way that they should be at the bottom of the table. But I haven't been watching them that diligently, right? I saw them the other day, and I'm thinking, okay. Like, I see that they're not a fantastic side, but I don't know how the fuck they're in, like, second to last place, wherever they are right now. And I think there has to be some kind of crazy psychology going on where just, like, eventually at a certain point, you stop losing trust in a coach. So you want to talk about Milan getting penalties and getting into a flow of just winning games. Hang on. Hang on. When a team plays well, right? Juve for years, they would get a lot of penalties. They would get into a flow. They'd win games ugly. If you want to talk about Milan doing that, well, I think that's because you get into a flow. You can get into a good flow, or you can get into a bad flow. Right now, Torino are in a dog shit flow. And I don't know if it's the Gianpaolo effect, but everyone I've spoken to who's a Milanista is not super keen on him. So
let's take it back to the Milan game, and I wanted to ask about these penalties. And Nick, I'm gonna pull up something here. I just want to see. We want to talk about the penalties, obviously, and let me see here. So if we got Juventini using hashtag Campionato Falsato after Milan versus Samp. Our friend VJ. Have they forgotten about Montari 2012? Have they forgotten about 2018 Supercoppa? 2019 Serie A match with Milan should have been giving penalties. The irony. Then Maldinismo in Rivoluzione. Ultimi 3 anni. Rigore a favore the Inter 26. Favorable penalties for Juve 29. Favorable for Milan 18. And against Inter 10. Against Inter 19 and against Milan 18. So in reality, if you look at the stats here, Inter at plus 16, Juve at plus 10, Milan at 0. Now, that's in the last 3 years. What I wanted to ask you, and I agree with all the pundits. I know Cesare on sports media said saying first penalty, definitely a penalty. Second one, no, because you could see the ball rolling up Gabbia's, chest and running up from over there. And the third one, Romagnoli, a lot of people were seeming to agree that was a penalty. But sometimes, and I'm not saying that they're favoring in Milan, but you need these kind of calls where a lot of these calls used to go against us. But do you agree with the calls of the penalties on the pitch yesterday?
Yeah, Vinny, I do. And just to hammer on that point, I think a lot of the haters and the people saying Milan's success is a lot of it's due to penalties. It's recency bias.
It's a chicken or the egg thing. It's a chicken or the egg thing. When you play well, you get penalties. It's not the other way around. You don't win games because you get penalties. When you play well,
okay, Sam, we're gonna mute you right now.
You see what I'm saying?
Thank you. Let the guy talk a little bit.
Guys, on my own podcast, I say 2 minutes on a 60-minute show. I swear. But no, but for me, it's recency bias. It's almost that there's still the shock for non-Milan fans that Milan's still on top, which is like the theme of this podcast so far. People need to rationalize the fact that we're at the top of the table, and yeah, maybe in the last bit of form, like what Sam's saying, maybe it's a little bit true when you're dominating games and you're pushing the pace and this and that. You're putting yourself in a more favorable position, or maybe you're in the box more, or this and that, and you're forcing penalties. But, just to think that the reason why, Milan's winning now and, they're always getting favorable calls, the numbers don't lie. We just saw the numbers right in front of our face. Sure, maybe a few more are happening now, but people just need to rationalize why we're at the top. Some people can't deal with it. They don't want to accept it. And I completely agree with the calls in this game. I have no question about it.
So you think it's a deep-seated psychological coping mechanism to deal with the fact that Milan, one of the historically most successful clubs in Serie A, are doing well. I don't think it's that much of a shock. I think it was always bound to happen.
No. I think what the problem is. So I'm going to throw this out to Steve. The problem is that when Juventus was getting these kind of calls and winning those 9 Scudettos in a row, they were always the better team in Serie A. And I think right now people have a hard time admitting that as we speak, Milan is the best team in Serie A. Prendetevel tutto in culo. Stevie,
no
is that a problem? People can't realize that as we speak right now, Milan is the best team in Italy.
You have to look at the top of the table. You have to take a look at the top of the point. We're at the quarter point of the season. 38 divided by 4, it's 9.5 something. I did it just because I wanted to know where we're at. I'm no mathematical genius. I took my phone. I actually did 38 divided by 4. We're at the quarter point. I like to look at half and half. I like to see where is my team at the halfway point. We have David Fanta. He's on the Scudetto train. He wants to go and I believe him. And you know what? After 9 years, go for it, man. I like to look at the halfway point. Those stats of penalties, guys, I don't want to see them anymore. I don't care.
But get used to it. If you win, you will see them. I mean,
the thing is that no, but I'm not. I don't want to see them against. I don't want to see them not. Those are the ones that are called. You know what? Give those stats to the referees.
What does Zlatan say? Right
in the game, I don't ask for that penalty.
Yeah.
It's given to me. The first penalty, Kessi's penalty that he scores. That if you're a soccer player and you do not like any of the teams, you're a neutral. You're saying, what the fuck is that? That ball was going in the corner. If there was fans, it was going to hit someone. But that's the rule, guys.
Get mad at the rule.
Get mad at the rule. Don't get mad at Milan.
Well, like I said, what does Zlatan say, right? Lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. And when Juve were getting penalties left and right for years, I never gave a shit what anyone else said, because my team was playing well and we were winning games. It's, so I wouldn't concern yourself too much with that. I do think I would give you guys more credit. I would say a quarter point of the season and you're playing as well as you are. Yeah, shit can go awry. Shit can go off the rails. You can have a fucking 4-game winless streak with a couple of losses in there. It's hard to imagine now.
And you know what? 5 points, guys. 5 points is nothing.
We could lose
no,
that. Yeah.
But it's been I think it's been long enough now that you can stand up, applaud, and say fucking credit to you guys. Because if this continues, say for 3 years, again, a lot would have to happen for that to happen. We're talking about a chunk of a season, and then that would have to be repeated over a couple of years. But if you guys can continue this type of dominance over a couple of years, as the players you have now get older, then I think people would be forced to accept that you guys are the best team in the league. Of course, teams could reinforce their own squads while this is happening, and lead to a greater level of competitiveness, and that's fantastic. But I do think that right now, a reason why people may not necessarily be super quick to jump on the bandwagon that Milan are the best team in the league is because they didn't really think so at the start of the year, and because a lot of the players are still relatively young. I know you have some guys that are kind of coming into their own now, but there's been a lot of fringe recruitment, going on. I don't, even
they went completely opposite of the Milan mold. The Milan mold was always win, Band-Aid. Yeah, it got us 7 Champions League, but once that project was over, it got us in a world of shit. Compile that with an owner that sold to an owner that didn't exist, and then we owned by a hedge fund that in reality they never knew anything about soccer, and now we're still in this, but things are changing. Things are changing for the good of the team. And you know what? You said it was great. Sam, you brought up a point that I always like to make. Everybody had that window when Juve was winning.
That's right.
Milan and Inter were at the lowest points of their career. And I include Inter in there too because they're important for Serie A.
They definitely have that career.
I hate them, but they're important. And the Napoli, the Juve, the Napoli, the Roma, the Lazios, you had your window. It's too bad if you missed it. Yeah. It's not my problem. Now this is my window. Let's see what I can do in my window.
Mm-hmm. Your recruitment has been fantastic. So yeah, I mean, and again, you guys deserve it. I mean, after all the experimentation that went on, you were just throwing shit into a test tube and seeing if it would stick. I can't believe you brought up Young Hong Lee, Nick. We haven't talked about that guy in years, like probably a good year and a half, 2 years.
With reason.
You guys know about that guy's Twitter? Have you guys seen that guy's Twitter?
Well, right now, if we start talking about that, we're going to be talking for like an hour and a half.
He's a bad boy. He's a bad boy. Unverified Twitter account.
Let's leave Young Lee all alone on that one there because if we get carried away, we're already 30 minutes in. Steve, do you have the screen to pull up for the rest of the results of Serie A? Allora, in the end, mangiatevela tutta perché siamo capoliste e fa freddo a -5, -5. We'll keep it at that, and we'll see where we go. I don't know if we're still on the bandwagon on the bus of David Fante, so we'll see from there. Let's take a look, guys, at the results of the weekend. Steve, how's the prop going out over there? Are you finding if we start over with Inter Bologna? I don't think that was a surprise. Again, Lukaku is a beast. People talk about Zlatan dependent. You could talk about Lukaku dependent. I watched a little bit of this game. Steve, your takeaways from, I don't think Inter was ever in doubt in this game, right?
Just Bologna can defend.
Sam, how about you? Did you watch this game here? Any takeaways from this game? Sorry, Nick, because Sam, you're talking a lot. Nick.
Go.
Yeah, well, for me, one of the takeaways from this game, and I want to focus more on Lukaku, because I saw this weekend, actually, he came out and was reported saying that he truly believes that he's a top 5 striker in the world. And, I was thinking about it, and Sam and I were actually discussing it on a recent podcast when, if you're in tune with English football Twitter, and all that crap, everyone laughed at Lukaku, bye, ciao, bye, out the door, laughed on his way out to Inter from Man United. And, before Cavani, Man United was desperate for number 9, and Lukaku is killing it in the Serie A. And, I thought to myself, I don't know if you could definitively say top 5, but I struggle to say this as a Milanista too, but as a football fan who, likes to, objectify, see how people play and their talent and objectively rank them, I think Lukaku's close. I really think he is. That was my main takeaway.
You see it, and Sam sees it with his team. It's proven. It's proven that a player's ambiance and where he's playing can dictate where his career is going to go. Morata at Juve found a home. You understand? Morata tried to go to Chelsea, didn't work. Went back to Atletico Madrid, didn't work. There's something wrong that he scores goals with Juve, leaves and cannot score, comes back to Juve and then scores. people don't think, because the English, I'm gonna apologize in advance if we have anybody who likes EPL or is English, but the English people are stupid when it comes to soccer, because they love the EPL. They boot the ball in the air, and they have no game, and they have a bunch of athletes running around, and you know what? You're happy with that, but maybe that game is not for Lukaku. And then Inter takes him on, and now he's scoring goals, and then they're gonna say, "Oh, but Serie A is a farmer league." Yeah, okay. Perfect. And Ronaldo came, and we have Immobile here. We have some talent that's coming back, right? So those people in the English Premier League, and they're looking for an excuse. Harry Kane. Harry Kane, come and play in Serie A. Come.
We'll see what
you're not gonna score. You're not gonna score.
I'll take him at Juve.
You'll take him at Juve, but on that note, we gotta get through these games, guys. But Sam, let me pass you over.
You're rushing it. Just relax.
I'm not rushing it. What do you want? I mean, if we all talk, we're gonna be here talking about Inter.
That's what it is. Don't relax. Just go through the games.
So, okay, Inter, maybe. Sam, what do you have to talk? What do you have to say about Inter and Bologna?
I think you guys already spoke about the game enough. I don't want to harp too much on that. I will say, though, just to follow up on what Steve said, what's ironic is a lot of players that do come over to Serie A. I remember Carlos Tevez when he came to Juve from the Prem. I believe he was at Chelsea. I believe he was at Man City. He's talking about how much more fit the players are here, how much more training there is, which is ironic because you would think that with all the emphasis they put on physicality in England, it would be there. It's really weird. So it's like they have they're like tactically way more, in tune in Italy, and apparently they train a lot harder as well. I just found that really funny. But I don't know. I think Lukaku playing at Man United was just a toxic environment. We're seeing it. I think he's represented by Mino Raiola. It's like every single Mino Raiola client that goes through Man United, slow hanging fruit today because of what's going on with Paul Pogba. But it feels like it's just absolute fucking mayhem. He's been fantastic at Inter. I think he could very well be one of the top 5 strikers in the world now. I will say though, the one thing I would like to discuss about this game really quickly, hero moment for me this week, was Sinisa Mihajlovic last week coming out and trying to find the mole in his side. I don't know if you guys heard, but he apparently this is straight out of a Marty Scorsese movie. He leaked. He presented a false tactic to his team to see if it would get leaked, and he did it to amazing a small sample of players to see. He's trying to isolate the rat. It's incredible. It's like right out of The Departed. So Bologna are in a small crisis at the moment. But no, that was the key takeaway for me right there. As soon as I saw that, I was like, Bologna have no chance this weekend. I'd rather talk about Parma Benevento. Look at that. Perfect game. 0-0.
How about the other stalemate that they played under the foot and a half of water in the first half? Roma Sassuolo. I watched the first maybe 15-20 minutes, and I'm like, how in the hell they're going to play this game? VAR took over in this game. Roma with the red card, tried to score, no good. Sassuolo, VAR took it away. But I was not expecting a 0-0, Nick. I don't know if you watched Roma Sassuolo. A very disappointing result for both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to watch the torrential downpour live, unfortunately, but I did get to watch the replay of this game. And for a game that, the typical the scoreline doesn't necessarily represent the action of the game. Like you said, Vinny, VAR took over in this game, and there were some big chances. And for a 0-0 game, I mean, it was pretty electric, some would say. But I don't know what else to take much from this. The fact that, is this Sassuolo's second match week in a row now dropping points? Are we now just waiting for Sassuolo as a ticking time bomb? When are they going to finally fall out of the top 5? Is that what we're going to start doing now? I don't know.
Every year, when we see them going up from over there. But nothing to write home about. About you, Steve? I don't know if you watched this game.
This is a very important part. This is why I told you to take your time.
Yeah,
this guys. Okay. Yes, there's a problem. And this is the problem with Italian soccer right here. You cannot have an afternoon of soccer like this. I'm saying this because, all respect to all the teams playing. Parma, Benevento, sleeper. Roma, Sassuolo, guys, our stadiums are crumbling. If we can't play literally when there's a bit of water, guys, there's a major problem. And you know what? What's even worse? Udine Atalanta gets suspended because of the water.
I think it's because the rain stopped at Roma Sassuolo before, but you saw Udinese was raining. But the first 10 minutes, like the guys, they're doing passes, and it's like it's
But
not
the
even
field,
reaching halfway.
But the field, it should not be like that.
No, it should have a draining system, and it's just
Well,
I know in the second half it was a bit better, but it was horrible, really horrible at the beginning.
But you cannot. This is professional. These are old stadiums. This is the problem with Serie A, guys. In the English Premier League, it rains, guys. England is the reigning capital of the world.
A lot.
They fucking have no sun in England. There's nothing to dry it up. We can't have this. It was a terrible, terrible afternoon. I didn't want to tweet it out, but I thought to my head, you know what? This is why the EPL, they run all over us. Because they don't have days like this. Because at the same time, right after that game, there was Arsenal-Tottenham, which was back and forth, bullshit soccer, but it's entertaining. That's what people want to see. We had Parma-Benevento 0-0, sleeper. We had Roma and Sassuolo playing in a pool. And we had Atalanta and Udinese not even playing because of the field. And the Udinese stadium is not even that old, guys.
They're saying, who's writing down? Faz is writing, they renovated the stadium in Udine, but forgot to do something about the pitch. It's pretty sad.
I didn't realize we had an irrigation problem in Serie A. I don't know if that's is this like an old problem
but this has been going on for years.
It's just that like Steve is saying, that whenever there's torrential rain, you don't see a game in England getting, other than thunder, or lightning fear of, but they have an irrigation system that the water, irrigates at one point and it drains out. And the way it was looking against Roma and Sassuolo was pretty horrible. It felt like we were watching, local soccer here, CSRDP with, and even in front of the goal, Steve, you saw that grass in front of the goal. Like, it was horrible. I understand the Olympic Stadium is very old, but were they playing in Roma? Yes, they were playing in Roma. So it's just but you're making a good point, Steve, 100% on those ones there. Hopefully, even they fix these kind of problems, because sometimes it could be embarrassing, especially if we go from there. Let's let Sam talk about his beloved Juventus. Were you stressed during this game? Did you think you were going to lose the Derby della Mole for once? And Sciacquata Villabocca scoring there in the last seconds. How did you feel about that game?
Your boy, Sciacquata Villabocca. I was petrified. I was watching the game, and I mean, as soon as we went down by the second half, I was like, okay, that's it. This is over. We scored the one goal that got ruled out. Quadrado, nice drive from outside the box. It got ruled out for for an obstructive offside position that Bonucci was standing in. Wanted to kill him, and I thought, that's it. Game over. Like there's no way we're getting a result here, because you know what's happened this year anyway. I don't know if this is, again, I think so much of football is psychological, especially at the top level, because Juve objectively on paper might have the best team in the league. I guess we'll see where your guys are at in a couple of years' time, and maybe we'll look back and say, fuck, Milan in 2020, 21 were incredible. Look at the young players they had, before they were, huge names. But on paper right now, we should be cleaning up with a lot of the teams that we've played against right now. We've drawn Hellas Verona, we have drawn Crotone, and we have drawn Benevento. I thought we were on pace to draw another cellar dweller in Torino, to be honest. When we got that one goal late on with McKennie, I thought, okay, this could be it. And again, so the fact that so much of football, I think, is psychological is a big reason why we've actually struggled to have the balls to finish matches. Under Allegri, we didn't have those issues. And it's like the past year and 2 months under new management, we haven't quite had the ability to have questa cattività, that we used to have. We definitely lacked it last year, and it's felt like we lacked it this year. The fact that Bonucci scored that late goal, I lost my mind. And you know what? The human mind is really complex. I'm thinking, fuck it, I don't even care. The season's a write-off. This is awful. I'm trying to tell myself, like, just forget about it. Coping mechanisms, right? Goal goes in, I'm losing my shit. I haven't lost my shit like that since the beginning of the year. We'll see. We'll see if it's a turning point. I don't know. It's only Torino. It's a Gianpaolo-led Torino. I know Steve's gonna rip me a new asshole for praising Juve for getting a result against them, but I really do think that it could be big psychologically because of how important psychology is in mounting a title challenge. So
yeah, Juve. No, I have to disagree with you there, Sam. I think Juve has a sack of problems. Juve
Oh,
has a diamond.
We do.
Juve has a diamond. If Juve cannot get Paulo Dybala going, it's better you call Juve CR7, because to be very honest, he's been that difference maker, and he's been the person who's been the mirage around the problem. And the mirage is the midfield. And no one's gonna say, people are gonna say, "Hey, Steve, you're crazy. You hate Juve." No, the mirage is around the midfield. You know, like McKennie, great. I love this whole thing of, going and get people for the guys. McKennie non è da Juve. Come on.
No.
It's the same thing like me saying, when we had players like, Bertolacci and stuff like that. I cannot say they're da Milan, guys. They're fillers that, we got for a specific reason. And, for Juve, it was to sell T-shirts and shirts in the U.S., And I'm not taking anything away from the guy. All due respect, he could play the game, and I'm Monday morning quarterback this stuff. But the thing is that that's not a player that Juve needs. Juve needs a dominant midfielder.
He does recover balls well. He just plays a specific role. We don't have a creative midfield presence right now, and that's where you guys have had a lot of success, is going out and getting younger creative guys. So he's a little bit similar to Kessie. It's low hanging fruit because they both have similar haircuts and they're both built like tanks. But literally, in terms of how they play, fairly similar. But we don't have like a Benacer right now. You know what I mean? Who can break those lines? We don't have a Tonali who's as eloquent on the ball. I would say, Arthur's a decent player, but he hasn't really come into his own yet. I definitely think the midfield's a huge issue. But you're 100% right. We've been using Ronaldo as a crutch. Dybala, though, I think he's gone. I think he's asking for €15 million a year. There's no way we're giving it to him.
Yeah, like double his wages or something like that. Based off what? Like what merit does he have?
We shall see. We shall see what Dybala has. And again, guys, it's still a very long Serie A schedule. We're taking over. Even Lazio, not a very big convincing win. Nick, I know they went up to nothing. Spezia tied up from there, but Lazio getting it done, still getting those 3 points. You guys, I don't know what you guys feel about Lazio so far, but we like to call him Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because we never know what kind of Lazio we get from over there. And even a game like today, Fiorentina, Genoa, I have no idea how the hell they tied it up there in the last second. But to take it over to Lazio, Lazio is same thing every single year, right? We get great Lazio. Then when it's time to actually win, they just can't have the foot on the pedal. But what are you guys' feeling to you, Nick, about Lazio so far this season?
I think Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, is probably the perfect way really to describe Lazio this season. The thing Sam and I have been speaking about a lot between each other since the beginning of this season is that, Lazio last year was almost like, this is my coming out. This is like my time, and we're showing ourselves as being legit. And then, this year turns around and, not so much.
So fun to make fun of, though. So fun to make fun of.
So fun to make fun of, but what are they more really? Are they more the Jekyll or are they more the Hyde? I'm gonna be honest with you. I never saw that movie, so I don't know which one's which one's good or which one's bad. But are they the good one or the bad one?
Mr. Hyde was the monster. I think Dr. Jekyll was
whatever it is. It's been going on for years.
Exactly.
So, which one are they more of? Are they more of the, the Lazio that can maybe, continue to push and stay prominent within, the topper, the higher area of the table? Or are they more of the, we're going to poop our pants a couple of times and we're going to drop some big games and, that's that.
Let's be honest. Last year was an anomaly. The fact that they were able to challenge for the title as long as they did with the team they had, anomaly. And then they're going to be a perennial unless or until they can really get some serious systematic change to the club and actually get some big ass upgrades to the squad, which I don't think will ever happen under Lotito. I think they're going to be perennially in the Champions League, Europa League, kind of, on that cusp. We'll see. Prove me wrong, but yeah.
Well, definitely. And to finish it off, Steve, if Fiorentina didn't score that 97-goal,
Donny, I don't even want to waste minutes of the podcast.
Not even waste minutes at a time. Okay, but
Nick thinks they're going down. Nick thinks Fiorentina's going down. Just for the record. And
I do.
And we have a huge scoop. We found out that Rocco Commisso's middle name, for years.
Rocco Commisso. Get it right.
It's not Commisso.
It's Commisso.
We've been fucking that up for years.
Commisso si chiama. My father told me off the other time.
We've been fucking that up for years then. It's a good thing you never heard me do that. Se no mi avrebbe fatto uno job do Bronx, as he said. So he went by Rocco B. Commisso. He goes by Rocco B. Commisso. Well, we had an inside source. Kid we know was dating like his kid we know was friends with Someone was dating his niece or something. We found out his middle name is Benito. How terrible a middle name is that? It hurts. You can't bring in some guy named Benito to Italy and expect to have any success. The stadium is
probably, you know what's sad? There's probably a lot of people named middle name Benito.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Before I let you go, before I let you guys both go, Sam, because you merited yourself this here today, I have a little surprise for you. You probably has no idea what I'm doing right now, but in the wrestling world, we would say cut a promo, right? And let's see if he actually answers, because I'm trying to. Don't worry who we're calling. Don't worry who we're calling.
Live on the pod. This is risky business.
This is because you merited. You merited talking over people. Mr. Tommy.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Tommy, I need you to do me a favor, because some people are saying it on the on the comments. And can you cut a promo on Sam and about his Juventus? This is your time. It's been a while. Tell him how you really feel.
I want to ask him one thing.
Hi, Tommy.
How many Champions League has Juventus won in the last 10 years?
I'll tell you how many they've lost in my lifetime.
It was Milan. It only took Milan not even a year, and they won 2 back-to-back Champions Leagues. Juventus, in the last 10 years, they won 9 Scudettos. 0 in Bacheca. When you're talking about Champions League, 0.
Don't I know it?
2 Champions League lost.
And
that's about it.
How about this season, Tommy? How are you feeling about Juventus this season?
Quest'anno, my friend, vi dovete mettere in testa, mettetevi l'animo in pace, che siete una squadra che è vecchia, non vale un cazzo. È finita la Juve. This year, the Scudetto is coming back to Milan, to where it belongs. The Scudetto is coming back home.
A lot of people on the hype train.
And believe it or not, if we get to Champions League, so cazzi duri per la Juve, because I believe it or not, Juventus, if they face Milan in the Champions League, they will get eliminated. And believe me, we are the only team in Italy right now that could bring back the Champions League back to Italy. The only team in Italy that could do it is Milan. And believe me, if we're going to get to the Champions League, by hell, we're going to be thrown out. We're going to bring it back where it belongs.
Preach, Tommy, preach. Mr. Positivity all of a sudden. Sam, do you have a rebuttal before we let Tommy go?
We can keep him on the line for 1 sec. Okay. Tommy, that was a great rant. You're 100% right. It's been absurdly infuriating following you in the past several years. Okay,
he won't hear you. He won't hear you. So.
Tommy, that was a great rant. This is high level technology shit. Tommy, we're putting you next to Vinny's speaker. I hope you can hear me. You're right. It's been a shambolic attempt to win the Champions League the past 20 years. I've seen them lose 4 times in my lifetime. I remember 3 of them. I would love to see you guys in the Champions League. That'd be unreal. Maybe those would be some demons that we would have to exercise. If we faced you guys and beat you guys in the Champions League, that would be unreal. But I would want to face you guys in the Champions League, man. If you guys made it back to the knockout round. But there's a lot of work to do before you get to that point. I will say this. Good luck winning the Champions League without Berlusconi at the helm. I think there's a better chance right now that Monza and Balotelli are going to win the Champions League before Milan or Juve do it. Galliani and Berlusconi are coming for us, Tommy.
I don't know about that one there, Tommy, but thank you for answering.
Ma comunque non ho sentito un cazzo. Ma comunque, the only thing I'm going to tell you is this. È finita la pacchianata che si comprano partite. Questo e quell'altro. Li voglio vedere. Give me that's what I want to see. I want to see in January when Juventus going to get a nice shellacking by Milan. Ma una batosta come si deve. Quello voglio vedere. And I hope that somebody fa saltare le gambe sto cornuto di Ronaldo, perché Ronaldo è finito, this guy. This guy is finished.
Tommy, thank you.
He tries 10 times better than Ronaldo, mettetevelo in testa.
Tommy, thank you so very much. Have yourself a good night, and thanks for answering.
Forza Milan.
Ciao, Tommy.
Yeah.
I'm fired up.
Now he's all positive, but it's been a while. And Tommy, he says to everybody, Google Translate if you don't understand his Italian. But guys, I wanted to take the time. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight. Nice little conversation. But before we let you guys go, please plug yourselves away. Put yourselves over. Where can we listen to you? Where we can find you? When do you broadcast your podcast? Go ahead and shoot.
That's you, Sam.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us on. It was a lot of fun. We're on all major platforms. Subscribe to us there. We'd love if you could check us out. Definitely, again, do subscribe so you can see when we post new episodes. Spotify, iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, the whole shebang. We're everywhere that you can listen to a podcast. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Calcio Podcast. That one's for Steve. He's a big TikTok guy. If you're a little bit older, you can check us out on Facebook as well. We post our links there. It's the Calcio Podcast. We post weekly. We're pretty random with it, but I don't know. First half of the week usually. So
first half of the week. Nick, I know you didn't talk that much povera te, but maybe it's always the silent ones that I have to fear, just like Milan. But anything else to add to this plugging?
Sam is definitely the one you guys have to fear, guys. Trust me, Sam's the one you gotta fear. Sam's the one you gotta run away from because this guy's gonna talk your ear off. I swear. But
I didn't notice.
No, but Sam got all the channels down, all the handles down. So honestly, Steve, Vinny, thanks for having us on. It's been a lot of fun, and thanks for putting up with Sam, I guess.
Well, we had to get you on. You're a new member of Milan Club Montreal. We had to get you
proud of it too.
We had to, long overdue.
Sam is riding off your coattails. You get all the glory, and he's riding off your coattails.
Up on back, buddy.
But maybe we'll talk. Maybe we'll talk after the Milan Juve game. We'll see. We'll go from over there. But we'll keep in touch, boys. But thank you so very much for joining us once again tonight.
For sure. And last thing, guys. Love what you guys are doing with the charity for the Christmas drive. Personally going to log on right after this and contribute. So any listeners, definitely get at them. Get at them. Great, fantastic thing you guys have been doing for a couple of years. Beautiful initiative. So
appreciate it.
Keep it up, guys.
Thank you so very much, guys. Thank you so much. Have yourselves a good night, and we'll talk soon.
Good night, guys.
Ciao. Nice little guy, a nice little conversation. We have the Juventino, we have poor Nick, that Sam guy. He's talking. I gotta, maybe their podcast is 10 minutes, Nick, and 90 minutes. Sam.
No. On their podcast, Nick gets in some words, and when they invite me on, Nick really gets in some words.
Nice.
I feel like I'm the big brother in that relationship. I try to give him some confidence. You have to talk.
Yeah, no, definitely. Steve, I wanted to start before we get into the Patreon questions. Nathan wrote us a nice little message a couple of days ago, and I wanted to get your opinion, and probably the guys on YouTube are going to have a field day with this one. But Nathan says, hello, fellas, got a question for you that I didn't want to take up on the podcast. It's a bit off topic. I'll go ahead and out myself as a Bayern supporter. In my defense, I tracked my ancestors back to Bavaria and picked Bayern off of that. Had no idea how good they were. But I'm incredibly intrigued by Milan and Calcio in general. While Bayern games are like a rock concert, Milan is an intricate opera with a very intense and exciting atmosphere. As I've only been following football in general for about 5 years, I've learned a lot about how to be a proper fan from y'all as well over the past few years. So thank you for that as well. Now my question. Been thinking about this one longer to track your podcast, especially during Tommy time. I'm a sucker for vintage legends, and my favorite is the bomber Gerd Müller. Also have a lot of respect for Baresi. If Müller worked his way past a classic Milan midfield, let's say Beckenbauer connected with him on a through ball, and Baresi was the lone defender between him and a certain goal, does Müller score or does Baresi win the ball off of it?
No.
I like that he took the time, towards a Masperé, but I'm sorry,
that through ball would have never got to him.
It would never.
Would have just never got to him. So.
But good questions. Beckenbauer to Gerd Müller, but a fantastic one. And obviously, if I would ask Facebook, Frank or Tommy, I think they would say the exact same thing. So, thanks for reaching out, Nathan.
What's his name? Nathan. Yeah, Nathan. He wants to know the answer. I'm gonna give Nathan something to go watch. Nathan, go watch the 1994 World Cup final, Italy-Brazil. You know the score, so you're not watching for the score, right? Take a look at Baresi play that game on one leg, and then you're going to get your answer.
But
that was just phenomenal.
But on a side note, I got to tip my hat off to Beckenbauer, and I believe in 74 when he played with a Brooklyn
like a shoulder or something,
broken. What is it?
Collarbone.
Collarbone, and he just played like this, like Beckenbauer again. Just like remember that newspaper, Steve, Tutto Sport, that Bonucci sembra Beckenbauer.
Yeah,
Preciso. First question is Ryan Percy on Patreon. Another great win. I'm really enjoying the never say die attitude the team now and the fact that the team is a family now really makes it a joy to root for them. Okay, I swear I'm not trying to be negative, but is anyone else starting to get concerned with how many chances we are wasting in the final third? We need to be way more prolific to avoid nervy moments during these games. Then we can kill off these games early and conserve energy. Thoughts? I think, not something that has been brought up very often, but how do you feel, Steve? I know we've been able to close off those games, would it be, against the Napolis, but you think it's something to be concerned about, that we're not missing so many chances in the final third?
We have to become more clinical in the final third. I think we're missing some chances there, and it's not only when Zlatan is there, it's also when he's not there. Against Sampdoria, it's just that we didn't find, we kind of put at 2-0, that game should be over.
Yeah.
Sampdoria could say what they want. Everybody could say, you know what, Milan didn't play a good game. Sampdoria didn't even show up for that game. Let's face it, guys. They were
tied it up.
Yeah, and they almost tied it up, right? They should not have been in that game. That's the frustrating part about Milan. Those games like that should be just not an easy. There's no easy game in Serie A, and the people are going to say there's no easy game. But the thing is, against the Sampdoria team that unfortunately for some reason did not show up, guys, those games we cannot be dealing with that kind of pressure.
Against Sampdoria, we're able to get away, but maybe for a better team, we're not going to get away with it.
Maybe not. There. Exactly.
But I like what he brought up, Ryan. Paulie, good evening, Vinny and Steve. Not to jinx things, but are we gearing up towards the winter break if Milan finishes as winter champions? Are you guys up for doing a forfeit for the first podcast after Christmas? You both should shave your beards, or maybe a different challenge than Patreon could even vote on. So he wants us to, we're gearing up towards the winter break if Milan finishes as winter champions. I'm not gonna take a bet with that one because our chances are good finishing up winter champions. But Steve, what are you willing to do if Milan wins the Scudetto? How about
winter champion means nothing.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Then we're going against everything that we were going against for the past 9 years, guys. The Inters that were winter champions, and we made fun of them. We made fun of everybody else that were winter champion. Winter champion means nothing, guys. You talk to me about Scudetto is a different conversation. Winter champion for me means nothing.
Are you shaving your beard if we win the Scudetto?
I don't care. It doesn't do nothing for me. It's not really a challenge. I want to go in a pool of Jello to raise money for kids. You think I'm worried about shaving my beard?
Greg, now more than ever, I'm convinced that Hakan is not worth 7 million annually, so we should get whatever we can for him in January as opposed to losing him for free. There was a sequence against Celtic in the 52nd minute where Theo made a run and broke through the lines, passed to Hakan, and all Hakan had to do was simple wall pass, and Theo would be through on goal. The pass was misplaced. 2 minutes later, Kessie used exceptional skill to get out of the tight press, passed to Hakan, and all Hakan had to do was make a simple outlet pass. Instead, he skied the ball out of play. Yes, he scored a great free kick, but if we have big ambitions, we need an upgrade over Hakan. If we pay Hakan 7 million, we need to give Kessie, Theo, and Benacer 9 million, and there goes our wage structure. Arrivederci Hakan, and grazie per tutte le ricordi. Is his goal, Steve, hide the fact that he hasn't been up to par? And you know what he's just mentioning against Celtic. I've seen. I think I'm realizing a lot more of these bad plays from Çalhanoğlu, where before I would be like, people want to shit on him because he didn't score, but he was having good plays. But in the last couple of games, I don't know. And, I don't want to be like, we were believing in Çalhanoğlu in the last 6 months, and I don't want to start shitting on him again. But do you agree he's not worth the 7 million?
No, Hakan Çalhanoğlu is not worth 7 million. But people have to also remember that this is also not FIFA 2021.
Yeah,
Manchester United is not going to come and give us $50 million for $30 million for Hakan when his contract expires. This is going to be on us. Whatever the decision is, it's going to be on us. It's management. It's something that unfortunately we did not deal with right away, and justfully so. Because if you go back to pre-coronavirus, you're not looking to re-sign this guy for an extension. No. We're going to end up with, a Bertolacci or Montolivo contract. And I don't want to have that because we can't afford that, to be very honest. Not monetary. We can't have someone like that taking a spot from someone that's going to contribute to this Milan. And, everybody's saying, I see on Twitter, it's Mercato Madness and, the winter Mercato, who are you going to buy? Guys, you have to realize that these clubs financially are in a very, very tough time. And this winter Mercato is going to be, you got to sell to maybe try to buy, right? And there's not necessarily going to be a buyer on the other side, right? So it's going to be interesting. For me, I've always said it, Hakan is not worth 7 million. I'm sorry. And you know what? I've been very hard, and people have said, why you're so hard on him. It's because I just don't think that he has it in him for a consistent 38-game season where he justifies that number 10 on his back. And unfortunately, that's the way I rate him.
And that's our personal opinion. That's what this podcast is all about, right? Gio saying, guys, keep up the great work. It is time to upgrade Benitez's contract because Chelsea and Man City are looking to sign him. With the upgrade, we can remove the release clause or add a higher one. I think these are, and trust in Maldini. I don't know, AC Sergio saying that on YouTube. Definitely just trust in Maldini. We're not, trust in his ways to renegotiate these things. But Benacer, I have no problem. Like, musculare, a little, not a big injury. Make him stay. We have Tonali. This is the reason why we get these kind of players there. But do you read any truth into these, Man City and everybody's looking at Chelsea's looking at Benacer?
Guys, it's only normal. There's not a lot of players like that are young, have a very low buyout clause. Manchester City buys Benacer with the change in Guardiola's pocket. At his clause now, yeah. I think Guardiola probably makes more than what people think that Benacer is worth. You understand? So, yes, that's the management's time, and you have to look at it too. Hakan is not a Maldini player. Hakan is from the old guard, the time that we want to forget. Benacer is a Maldini guy.
Definitely.
So, that plays a big part in this whole discussion too. And again, guys, there's other people that's going to need to be re-signed. That that money has to be spread around. Guys, I don't know if Milan has a budget. We have no choice.
Exactly.
There's financial fair play will come back sooner or later. I don't know how it's going to come back, but it's going to come back.
David, hi Vinny and Steve. The Juventini Interisti crying about Milan's penalty kicks remind me of Donald Trump claiming the election was rigged months ago. Will they claim fraud when we win the Scudetto? Will Juve refuse to concede and put a big Scudetto 39 on their stadium anyway? I'm loving every second of this. The theme is a joy, even if the matches are stinkers like yesterday's. Thanks for bringing us together every Monday night, and much love from Philadelphia. Ciao, David. We're getting to the bus stop where your bus is going to be passing. We're not on the bus yet, but we're walking our way towards the bus stop. Steve, I don't know. You're walking with me?
No, I'm still. I'm at the quarter point. I need to be where I am at. Maybe at the bus stop at the halfway point.
At the halfway.
Guys, for me, I've seen this show too many times, guys. You know what? I've been watching this team for the longest time. It's a different team, yes, and things are going well for this team, but everybody needs to manage their expectations because there's a lot of luck going on in this, and I'm speaking truthfully here. There's a lot of luck, and you have no choice to take it. You have no choice to take it because it's a part of winning Scudetto. Because in reality, are we the strongest team in Serie A? Probably not. But this team is doing something that the stronger teams are not doing. They're winning when they're not supposed to win. And that's what gets you 5 points up. I said it. Milan have to be like a chipmunk, ready for hibernation. Collect all these points. Be 7 up at a time, be 8 up at a time, because people will chip away. We've seen it with Milan. Start slow and really well. Now this year, could it be that we're starting well and we're going to end slow? That's a problem, you understand? But when you start well and you have a nice cushion, people need to win those games to catch up to you. That's the big difference.
But for now, let's not. We have a great feeling, and this team is doing great stuff, even with this great mentality. And you saw the videos on the web, in the bus, and they're having good fun. And I think that's a big factor in them winning, even without Ibra, because we're Ibra dependent, right? So, anyways, guys, thank you. 82 live viewers. I think we've never hit over 80, Steve. Just when it was me and you. So thanks for that. Taking it over to Twitter. Giancarlo Milan Amore Mio. Hey guys, what do you think that made Calabria's Milan career turn around? Just a few months ago, he was about to get sold for Aurier. Now he seems to be untouchable. Also, thoughts on what to do with Conti. Conti, is he still hurt, Steve? No.
I've seen him warm up, but they use Dalot on the right hand side when Calabria doesn't play. What
do you think happened to Calabria? Do you think he had maybe
he was going to lose his job? This is what competition is. It's exactly that. It's creating competition. Last year, he thought the job was his. Last year, people are not going to want to admit it. He was beat out by Conti, 2 major knee operations. That's a wake-up call. So it's either you play like you're playing now, Calabria, and that's great, or we look and we move on.
That's it. No, but I like that. The competition and fearing for your job. That makes a lot of sense. Let me see here. What else do we have? I don't know if there's been other questions. Okay.
Also with Calabria, while you find the question, it also helps when you have someone who's playing in front of you that actually wants to play some defense.
That's a very good point as well.
Because we had Suso there on that right-hand side for a very long time, and sometimes on defense it would look like we're playing 9 against 10. And Calabria was the one. Calabria, Conte were the ones who were getting all the crap on them. But you're always 2 against 1. Who do you mark? Now we have Salchicha Maker. We have Castillejo running around who. That's the best thing he does is run around and hustle. It helps. It helps Calabria in his game too. So something needs to come to. There needs to be a gift at Christmas time for Salchicha Maker and Castillejo from Calabria.
Mezzi from Milan Club Montreal. Last time Milan won the Scudetto, they were first during the winter mercato, went on to signing experienced players like Van Bommel and Cassano. Do you think at this point of the season, Milan should start thinking about a Scudetto race mercato? I think, getting at that time the Van Bommels and the Cassano were just an extra to the team that was already gelling, and many, we had a good mixture that year there. I do not know, Steve, that a mercato race signing, would you sign veterans? Would you sign, we know we need possibly somebody for center back, right? Not possibly. We do need a center back because look at the situation we're in right now. I'm not saying Gabbia is not playing very good, but we're not going to go into Champions League and 3 competitions with Romagnoli and Gabbia.
But that's the summer mercato. We're talking about winter. Guys, we got to get there first. You have to understand that people have to understand that you got to get to the first 4 spots.
Okay, so
you're talking about Champions League. That's next summer.
No, you're right.
That's not only winter. That's summer mercato.
Okay, but would you sign guys just to tidy over for 6 months to try to make it with this?
We can't do that anymore. We don't have the money to do that anymore. There's no more band-aids. They have to be calculated buys that will strengthen the team. Either in, they're gonna take someone's starting spot. Like if you know you're losing Hakan. You're not going to lose him in January, but you're going to lose him in the summer. Let's look at someone who's going to replace Hakan. People are going to say Brahim Diaz. I get it, but Brahim Diaz is on a dry loan. We're not 100% sure he's going to stay.
Yeah.
So we have to look at those things where we cannot lose. We cannot, first of all, not lose spots. That's the number one goal for me. My mercato would be whatever position I am in at Christmas time, I want to make sure that I stay there. What do I need to do? With a limited budget.
On a side note, Diaz, please don't ever make him play on that position. Padre Pioli, you could have seen he was so out of place, and he needs to play in the, the replacement for Çalhanoğlu. But he tried it out. I can't, in Pioli we trust. He tried it out. They saw it didn't work out. And Hoj Hogan comes in the second half, and you can see that it was a completely different play. But like you're saying, it's a dry loan, guys. We can't just make up numbers and go, yeah, we're going to bite him. If Madrid comes back and goes, we're not giving you shit, we need to have those second plan B, right? And plan C. Ralib saying, what do you make of Gazidis' great video on the love of the team and the city? I saw the video, Steve, about 5-6 minutes long. I liked it, but it sounded forced. Is it me? I don't know. Not that it sounded forced, but it looks like he's trying to buy himself back in the hearts of Milanistas because
he did it. He did what he had to do. He had to learn the Italian language.
Thank you very much. He did it. And how are you feeling about that video? I
give him props for that because it's not an easy language to learn. I don't know the other languages that he learned in his lifetime, but if you're a Spaniard and you need to learn Italian, it's an easy transition, right? French and Italian is kind of the same grammar. He's going from English to Italian. It's a big jump. I tipped my hat. I saw it too. I don't think it was forced. I think it's the language where you're trying to translate in your head. And look, we know how it is with the big box companies. Nothing's gonna come out pure and fancy with flowers, right? It's gonna be structured, and the message is gonna be what it is. So
he's rebuilding that relationship, because a lot of us, Steve, were not impressed with Gazidis, especially the whole Boban thing. And bit by bit, it does help, right? But he needs to continue because for me, he hasn't gained. I'm not gonna pretend that I know what the hell he does every single day, the insides and outsides, but we're getting there. Right, we're getting there where we see him as United.
As someone who runs the business, and Masara and Maldini need to run the soccer. That's all. If he stays away, we're good.
Justin saying salad maker learning Italian quickly.
Very impressive. Someone should have told Paquetá that a long time ago.
Is Rebic changing squad number a curse in disguise? I don't think so. I think. Rebic had his chances last game, fed a lot of good balls, but he just needs that one goal, Steve, to unblock himself, right?
Yeah, but I hate when they change squad numbers. I hate it. I can't stand it.
I don't know.
I really hate it. I don't know why he changed. Maybe something sentimental, but I don't get it. Can we answer Nor?
No, it's a couple of times. Nor, I will respect the fact that you think he's the best player at Milan right now, Çalhanoğlu. No offense, I don't know which games you've been watching, but Çalhanoğlu was good past COVID. When they came back, was a great contribution when Ibra was on the pitch, and it's been since he came back from injury, and these are facts. He has been doing maybe that one pass or two passes, but he hasn't been that great, and I'm sorry. I do not think the way he's been playing, if we take from day one that he was here, I'm not going to take 6 months of great playing to compensate to get a $7 million a year. That's our opinion, and you're entitled to yours, but I don't see how he would merit the way he's been playing now or the last 2 years, $7 million a year. Steve, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
For me, Nor, it's consistency, right? I'm hard on all the rest of the people when they're not consistent. And you know what? The number. I'm a true old school guy of soccer. I really think the number 10 should go to that fantasista type player, and the player who's he should be the standout of the team. I know in today's age that doesn't exist anymore. Sometimes the 10 comes off the bench, which I find ridiculous. And it's not that I hate him. I don't. It's just I find from when he's gotten here till now, there's no way that you can justify the salary that he's asking for. There's no way you can justify him as the best player on Milan, and that's unfortunately the facts. And for Milan to get to that next level, we need improvements at that position. And if it's sacrificing Hakan Çalhanoğlu for someone else cheaper, and I see some people Isco and stuff like that, those are great signings, guys, but that's going to come at a cost, right? So depending on the upgrade, and if he wants to stay at a reduced salary or what he's making, I don't have a problem with him staying either. But I can't be on this podcast and I will be lying to everybody to say that he's the best player.
Guys, I know we have so many questions, but already an hour and 15 minutes in, guys. We're gonna have to.
Okay. This is when you know that this account, obviously, guys, does not exist, or it's a rule. And I'm gonna be
seen all the Milan games since I don't want to
1990.
No offense, Mr. Khalidi. I don't even. If you're gonna put all the players that played from 1990 until now and tell me that Calcio is better, porco de Dio. Sorry, take him out. Take him out. Why am I reacting like this? Calcio is better than Kaká. Calcio is better than Kaká.
Yes, in 1990, guys. You're including the Saviceviches in there, the Bobans in there. It's a lot of number 10s. I could just give you better players at number 10.
You know what? My indigestion. I was gonna say the Sampdoria jersey, right? But I'm sorry, that comment is my indigestion of the year. You could have won me over in the last 5 years. You could have won me over in that since 1990. Per l'amore di Dio. No, I'm sorry. That's my indigestion. But Steve, I did put up a picture because Presidente said that we have to schedule our YouTube thing. So I came up with the picture when. Did you not love that? Pioli going in there and celebrating the goal with the boys surrounding me is something that Gattuso would do. But a great feeling. Definitely a great feeling seeing, but yeah, even Sampdoria, they look like a League Two, Premiership, whatever.
There's some nicer jerseys in the Garage League. That was a terrible jersey. Terrible.
And now you didn't say he was better. He's on par. Yeah, he's on par with Gullit. He's on par with Van Basten, and he's on par with Rijkaard. Okay. Enough now. Enough. I'm sorry for losing a listener. That's the way I feel. Stevie P, any good feelings? Indigestions, briochkis?
Good feeling, just good feelings for this week, guys. And it's all the Interisti, the Romanisti, the Laziali, the Napolitani. Everybody sending me a message, stopping me in the streets even to ask me, how is Milan doing this? How could it be they're top of the table? Guys, it's just soccer, guys. It's the beautiful game. The ball is round, and you have to watch it for what it is. And you have to enjoy these moments, especially when you've suffered as long as myself and a lot of the people on this, the 78 people that are looking at they're watching us live, the 1,000 subscribers that we have. Guys, we've suffered for a long time, guys. And we're happy at top of the table +5 because it's been a long time since we haven't been there and stayed there.
And stayed there, which is it. And you know what? I'm going to be the first one to say, will it last till the end? I don't know. Because if I would know, I would be really, 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 really rich. Because at the beginning of the season, who knew what the odds were on Milan winning the Scudetto? But we would have put 10,000, Vinny, if we knew they were going to win the Scudetto, at least. Minimum.
There you go. So
but
I don't know that. Exactly. But I don't know that. But the trying to find why, guys, there's no reason why. The other teams, the other years, Juve was there at the beginning of their 9 Scudettos in a row. We could have said they were the best team. Last year they weren't that great, and the year before they were starting to. No one was trying to find the reason why. So let us be, and go to this moment because top of the table.
And I know it hurts, guys. I know it hurts, but and thank you to Nick and Sam that just donated to the podcast. And I know that those years that Juventus was winning everything, we were frustrated because they were the better team, and we hated to admit it. And even when they were playing bad, the ball would bounce their way. And now we are maybe not on paper. We're the better team and just accept it. For now, we're the better team and just accept it. But
we were not looking for excuses. It hurt us. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
We were not looking for excuses. We had a podcast to do. We were looking at things. But in the end, as people who love the game, the better team wins, guys.
Who just wrote that? This gave me PTSD from the period where Bakay Traoré was considered a talismano. Bakay. Guys, thank you very much for hanging in there. An hour and 20 minutes strong. We wish we could get through all these questions. We love you guys, your support. Even Noor, we love your support as well, even though we might disagree on a lot of things. But Stevie P, any final words We have 5 days left. We're going to Walmart this Saturday. So far, with the last contributions, $1,115. Whatever we can get, guys, it's going to a good cause, and we'll be able to take a live video of us shopping, because now we can live stream, Steve, a live stream from the mobile. So we'll take you on for the ride, and we'll see how. Hopefully, it's not -20 on Sunday, Steve.
No, hopefully not. And guys, any amount counts. So that's the main focus. And the closing words: please donate to this fantastic cause. Guys, it's something that happens, yes, in Montreal, but we could use the help of all the listeners around the world. Any amount counts. Any amount is welcome. If you're in Montreal, bring toys, bring non-perishable food items on Sunday, December 13th. And Vinny and all us boys will be happy to put in a truck for you.
And just to closing, Steve, I don't know if you saw that Angie, the first lady, said that since you and Frank, because I'm trying to walk towards the bus stop, you guys are still at home in the cold, she'll pay for the Uber ride whenever you're ready. So
Me and Frank are good. Me and Frank, we popped open a bottle of wine and we're sitting and we're watching like old men. Then Frank is going to probably take out a cigar or something and we're going to smoke it together while we look at something beautiful in his window.
Guys, have yourselves a fantastic evening. Thank you for the banter. Thank you for the listens. Thank you for the viewership. Thank you for everything, for the donations to Patreon, to everybody. And ovunque sempre.
Forza Milan!
Buonasera.